Here's all 21 Marvel movies recapped in less than 7 minutes. Weapons manufacturer Tony Stark is kidnapped by a group of terrorists and forced to live in a cave. He breaks out, shuts down the weapons part of his company, eats some cheeseburgers, and becomes Iron Man. Isn't really made out of iron, it's more like a titanium alloy, but titanium alloy man doesn't have the right ring to it. We try to forget this one. Okay, so this movie has its cool moments, but for the most part, it's kind of like the foreplay for the Avengers. Wasn't supposed to spoil that. Black Widow's in this, she's pretty cool. It's kind of like a feature-long teaser for a much better movie. So Thor is a spoiled Norse god who gets banished to Earth by his dad because he tries to fight these big blue bad guys, and his dad's just that's not fucking on. But then on Earth, he falls in love with Jane Foster, who's a scientist. He also falls in love with coffee.
This drink, I like it. Another!
And then gets the power to wield his hammer.
Meow meow? What's meow meow?
It's a big fucking hammer. So Steve Rogers is this scrawny kid from Brooklyn who decides to join the army during World War II, gets injected with steroids, and becomes this big, sexy motherfucker. And then he decides to take on Nazis. But they're not Nazis, but they're kind of Nazis. They're called Hydra, who are trying to get their hands on the glowy stone called the Tesseract with his best friend Bucky, who dies, but doesn't really die. Because that's how World War II went, kids. So this is the culmination of everything so far. It's pretty much the orgy of superhero movies. You have Thor, Hulk, Captain America, and Iron Man all coming together to fight a bunch of aliens who came out of a portal, who are being led by Loki, who's not really dead anymore, who's then being led by the big purple baddie, the scrotum-chinned Thanos. Surprisingly, the Avengers win. They get shawarma, and all's right with the world. So all's not right with the world. Tony Stark has PTSD after the alien attack on New York, but then a new villain comes out. His name's the Mandarin. He's the leader of the terrorist organization that took Tony captive in the first movie, but then it turns out that the Mandarin's just an actor. The bad guy is a literal bad guy because his name's Guy Pearce. This is a recap, and we can't even be bothered to recap this, so you don't even watch it. In modern day, Steve Rogers is adjusting to the world, but then he's caught up in some serious espionage, because then he finds out that the good guys, S.H.I.E.L.D., were secretly run by the Nazi, not so Nazis, but Nazis, Hydra. And then somebody tries to kill him. That's the Winter Soldier. He also tried to kill Nick Fury, but then the Winter Soldier turns out to be his old friend Bucky, who's not dead anymore because he got brainwashed. Cap ends up beating Hydra, and then Bucky goes off to not be brainwashed anymore. So Andy Dwyer is abducted from Earth as a child, becomes a space thief with an abusive blue father named Yondu, who's kind of a dick. But then he goes rogue to steal another one of those glowing rocks. And then he assembles this group of the Aldi Avengers. It's they're just as good, they just don't have the name recognition. It's a pretty good movie. Groot's an MVP. Best one-liners in the whole. He does have, he has the one line. So yeah, this is also not a very good movie. A couple of things happen in it. Tony and Bruce accidentally make this killer robot who decides to take over the world, and they make a good robot to beat the bad robot, and yeah. Not much happens other than that. There's a cool fight between Hulk and Iron Man though. So Paul Rudd's a thief. He goes to steal a shrinking suit, gets caught, and then has to go and steal another shrinking suit because the guy who built the first shrinking suit was hey, can you go and do me this one favor? The movie's okay, but it does have the best trailer in the whole MCU.
Ants! Ant-Man!
Everyone's angry and they're fighting each other, but Spider-Man and Black Panther are there. Eggs Benedict. Bernard Crumplesnatch. Benny and the Jets. Okay, so Doctor Strange is about this surgeon who gets into a car crash, hurts his hands, has to go to this magical place to get them fixed. Then the even more magical Tilda Swinton's there, who teaches him all these cool magic tricks, because then he has to fight this dream monster, ends up beating him by just making him extremely bored, which, to be honest, you could have just shown him Age of Ultron. Andy Dwyer's dad turns out to be Kurt Russell. He also turns out to be kind of a dick. Turns out Yondu has been cool this whole time. He ends up beating his dad by turning into Pac-Man, but David Hasselhoff's there. So Spider-Man fights 1989's Batman, but at the same time is a cool, normal teenage kid. Except he can like shoot webs and stuff. He's a Spider-Man. Thor gets his ass kicked by his surprise sister and ends up on a trash planet where Hulk has been chilling for a few years after Age of Ultron as gladiatorial champion. They fight, make up, fly off, defeat the surprise sister and destroy Asgard to set up somewhere else, but dun dun dun, Thanos is back like a motherfucker. T'Challa finds out he has a secret cousin who steals the throne from him in some real Lion King shit, and after the single ugliest fight in Marvel history, Black Panther reclaims the throne. Everyone fucking dies. The Wasp joins Ant-Man for like some more size shenanigans, like big things becoming small things and small things becoming big things. This movie's pretty good. The most powerful character in the MCU. She's like fighting the same blue things from Guardians of the Galaxy, but this time she's doing it in the 90s, which means there's no doubt on the soundtrack. She's just like flying around, shooting shit out of her hands and being like super overpowered. It's pretty dope. And that's all 21 Marvel movies recapped in less than 7 minutes.